Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and today I thought I would film my workout. A lot of times I don't do the Friday workouts on video purely because I like the Sunday workouts more because I feel better after my Saturday refeed on my cut. I'm down to 99 kilos by the way today, guys, and that is without doing a true water cut, so I think making 90 kilos at this coming meet is not going to be out of the question considering I'm going to keep cutting at least for another month and maybe eat more and just keep carbs low the final 2 weeks to try to peak for it. Overall, obviously none of this is really heavy today. This is mostly technique work up in the near 90% range. It depends on how we would estimate that based upon the fact that I'm carb depleted, relatively low carb. I'm not even doing true keto at this point, just keeping carbs under 100 grams. But my overall calories are pretty low now. And so this does get a little hard, but it's okay because I can get away with that since I'm doing relatively low reps, only 1 to 3 reps on most of my stuff. All this bench press went pretty good today overall. The final 2 reps, I banged the uprights on the way out, like I hit the J-hook a little bit, it caught on it, and it threw my balance off, so they're a little slower and they felt grindier than they should have. But the first 3 were really, really good. And honestly, had I not hit those uprights, these all would have been lightning fast. Because, as you guys know, this is my opener at the last meet. This is not really an issue for me. That normally I can do 150 without a problem, even on a cut. So the benching went well. And I filmed 2 sessions today. I cut out all the warm-ups because it's an issue of not having enough space and not wanting a 15-minute video. So I cut out the warm-ups today. But unfortunately, I didn't get all of the workout. The rain cut me short on workout B. As you guys can see, it was really sunny in workout A this morning, which is why I went ahead and filmed it. But a few hours later for workout B, it started to rain right in the middle of it. So we missed 4 sets, but I got what I could. You guys will notice this one is a little sloppy. I hit that upright. It made me slow the eccentric down, and I was really unhappy with the rep. It still looks better on video than it felt. It's the same thing on this one. I unracked it, and I hit that stupid J-hook on the way out. And you'll notice it when I unrack it on my right side. You'll notice it lags behind when I unrack it, and that throws my balance off. Because when you're power benching, something as little as a nudge like that can move your back out of position, and it can mess up your entire, basically it can mess up your reps. See how I lost my balance with there when it hit it? But I still had it under control. It locked out fine, so no big deal. And this is basically just technique work, so not a problem. 5 singles, good to go. But just be aware that little things like that can really mess you up on a setup, particularly on such a technical lift as the bench press. Now my deadlift today, the ground was really, really wet outside, so I'm having to knock all the water off my feet before I do each one of these. And surprisingly, even though it started raining during the second one, I didn't have to do that because the concrete was dry. But I was walking through water puddles to turn the camera on and off, so I had to get my feet dry. Now obviously I'm only using 230 kilos. This is not a heavy weight for me. This is probably under 90% to be fair, because the 255 I did at my last meet was not my max. That was purely so that I could ensure I had a 100% chance of getting the 3rd attempt. And now I'm really working on my deadlift hard, so I'm sure my deadlift is a lot higher than that. So this is probably under 90%, but I wanted to do 10 singles today, so I didn't want to go too heavy. Did 5 in each workout a few hours apart. So obviously none of these look particularly heavy. This is really just technique work. I'm just trying to work above 85% if possible on a lot of these days and get in as much volume as I can. And the only time I hit 90% and up is if I'm going to try to do 5 or less total reps for the day. And these were straightforward, very, very easy, very fast, no big deal, and that's good. I needed lots and lots of singles to hone my technique on my deadlift. You've got to remember, when people talk about volume building, size and strength and things, it doesn't mean purely through reps. You can do tons and tons of singles to do the same thing, and at the same time train the motor skills for first reps. And for people who are wondering about that hip wiggle, as I've said before, that's to get my heels dug in, to get my heels hot, get the floor hot under my feet for better traction. And that thing I do with my hands is both to get some air in to breathe, and it is also there for me to kind of crack my back a little bit and get my upper thoracic region into where I want it to be. Sometimes it makes my back crackle a little bit, and it just makes that part of the back feel stronger for me when I deadlift. And it could be an issue of I may have some mobility issues in my upper back I need to work on. It could be a posture issue more than anything, and I probably need to sort that out a little better. But all of these lifts, these were relatively easy for me, nothing really hard. Technique looks perfect on everything, which it should when you're working at 90% and under. Up next, my first accessory lift. I kept the accessories light. Even though this is a push-pull day, I really only have 3 accessories, and some days I only do 2. Just my regular Pendlay Row, a quick 3x3. For people who are wondering, most of these lifts have been 2 to 3 minutes apart. But things like the Pendlay Rows, I do 30 or 40 seconds between, because this is just pulling for speed. This is obviously not a heavy weight. As you guys will notice, I almost bruised my chest on every single rep. I hit it so hard on the Pendlay Row. So again, I do these for speed, and you have to remember, the faster you can accelerate a bar or a weight with the same given weight, the more muscle fibers you recruit. That's a point lost on a lot of people. And things like my Pendlay Rows, I train these to build more explosive power. And so my setup in a lot of ways is very similar to my deadlift. My stance is very similar to my deadlift. My grip is slightly wider than my deadlift, but it exactly matches my bench press. I also did behind the neck presses today, and the same thing. I don't go ultra heavy on this. Even though I do a 3x3, I'm not trying to just exhaust myself. I'm not trying to do singles because I don't need to hone technique. I use my accessory work as really hypertrophy work more than anything. It's strength hypertrophy. So 3x3, and a lot of people will say, oh, 3x3 won't build a lot of size. Well, I believe that it does. And I've seen no evidence suggesting otherwise. So I think 3x3 works really well for accessories, particularly when you're getting fairly close to a meet. Now, if you're far out from a meet, no big deal, but I have a meet in just over 6 weeks now. And it's a push-pull, so I'm really minimizing my accessories and only doing accessories that are going to help my bench press and my deadlift. My squat I don't care about. That's why I didn't squat today. I've done 5 heavy singles this week on squats on 5 different days, and I'm done squatting. I usually do that right now. I'm squatting about 5 days a week. I build up to 1 heavy single, whatever feels fairly heavy, and I stop. Because I just need my squat to maintain right now while I'm cutting. I don't need to increase it because I'm not going to compete in the squat for at least 5 more months. I'm not worried about it right now. I can peak the squat when I get closer to my first qualifier for next year. Right now I've got to focus on these 2 lifts, bringing that deadlift up and making weight. But yeah, my behind the neck presses, happy with them. They felt good. Obviously this last set felt a bit heavy. I was starting to get fatigued. And as you can see, everything is from a dead stop off the bottom. None of this partial range of motion stuff. It's all full range of motion. You'll notice I do tuck my elbows a little bit at the bottom to protect my shoulder joints. And then the last lift today was chin-ups, because again, this is for my back and my biceps. Because at this point, I've realized I'm not worried about my back getting too big any longer. I just need to blow my back up as big and as strong as I can. It'll help me with my powerlifting. I need to quit worrying about the proportions from it, from an aesthetics perspective, because it doesn't matter. If my back gets huge as fuck, it will help me more with my competitive powerlifting. You can never really have a back that's too big. And I managed to squeeze out 8. These last couple were really hard with 20 kilos of chains. But I'm happy with that, considering I did all that deadlifting and rowing first. Quite happy with it. And then workout B, I came in, I did these. I only got 4 sets of the deadlifts on film, repeating the deadlifts from the first one, although these I only did exactly 2 minutes between because I was rested and had ate a bit of food before I came out here. And so they felt really good. Everything was really fast on them, felt easy. So I didn't take very long breaks at all. And then I missed the final deadlift because it started sprinkling. I didn't want to risk getting the camera wet, and missed the Pendlay rows, but trust me, I did them, although I have no evidence of it. And as they say, if you don't get a lift on video, it didn't happen, but I included them in the text anyways, because damn it, I know I did them. But here we go, my last couple of deadlifts. There's 2 more after this. And there's really nothing else to it. This is just a basic technique workout for me. Since I get to refeed tomorrow, I wanted plenty of volume on all the back work so that I can earn those carbs for tomorrow for that 7,000 to 8,000 calorie refeed. So I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.